Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We are so happy that you've chosen this sanctuary in time. That you're here is something to be celebrated. We extend an especially warm welcome to those first-time visitors. We'll be waiting to chat with you at the welcome desk after the service. And remember that we were all visitors once. And if you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat. Invite everyone to rise and greet each other.
Okay. Ellie's going to light the chalice. Yeah. You did great, Jay. You're awesome. Yes. Hi. I wrote it down. Okay, well, he doesn't get to make an announcement. If I don't... Okay, whatever. Good morning. This morning I have just a few announcements. First of all, next week, our worship associate, Ellie Agnew, had an idea to make an altar for the earth in honor of Thanksgiving here during the worship service. We would invite you to bring an object that is from the earth that is special to you to bring to the altar, something that inspires you in your connection to the land, and you will get it back. You're welcome to take it back. So it's not a communion. You won't take something that's not yours. You'll get your own beautiful object back. If you are a recent newcomer to our church, please consider attending Just the Basics today after the service. This is a 30-minute session that is an overview of Unitarian Universalism and will give you a chance to ask questions and meet other new folks. So after the service, grab a cup of coffee and a snack and look for Jim Christ in the foyer. There he is. That's him. There he is. Jim, everyone. If you're ready to take the next step after Just the Basics and start building relationships, our starting point class is Sunday, November 23rd from noon to 2, led by me. This is a wonderful class where you get your first taste of building relationships with other people at church in a small group format. We do deep listening and reflect on the journeys that brought us here. What do we treasure from our spiritual upbringing, and what do we leave behind? You'll also learn about membership and how to get involved. The link will be in the weekly email and or in Realm. Lastly, I've got quite the sermon for you today. I almost can't believe I'm preaching about this. But whatever is human is mentionable, and here in a UU church, we talk about it. Please use your discretion with your own family, but I feel that this is an adult topic. Our opening words today come from William Blake, Auguries of Innocence. to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Come, let us worship. Please rise as you're willing and able for our opening hymn, number 175 in the gray hymnal, We Celebrate the Web of Life.
We celebrate the web of life, its magnitude we sing, for we can see divinity in every living thing. A fragment of the perfect whole in cactus and in quail, as much in tiny barnacle as in the great blue whale. Of ancient dreams we are the sum, our bones link stone to star, and bind our future worlds to come with worlds that were and are. Respect the water, land, and air, which gave all creatures birth. Protect the lives of all that share the glory of the earth.
As Ellie comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that. Wait, I'm going to wait for Ellie to get it. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Could I have all the children come forward, please? You were first. Hi, you're always first. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi, Birdie. Hi, Norman. Hi, Roger. Hi, Penelope. Hi, Sonora. Hi, hey. Hi, everybody. Hi, Andre. Hi, Blake. Hi, Joy. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you. You guys look cozy. Is it chilly out? You're cold? I just want it to get colder. Do you guys know that this is Arjun's dad? What? I know. Can you believe it? Arjun's dad is this cool? This is Jay. Can you guys say hi, Jay?
Hello.
Oops. Just a second. Would you guys believe that Jay's a high-level engineer?
Yes.
We need this microphone on, too.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Rev Rose, have you ever heard of the Ramayana?
The Ramayana?
Yes.
A little bit, but tell me more about it.
Well, it's an ancient epic poem, and it's about moving mountains for your friends, love, and talking to animals.
Ooh.
Scholars believe that it's thousands of years old, and that's the earliest written versions that we can find. And it's an important story in Hinduism, and it's one of the first stories that I remember from my childhood.
What do you like about it?
So it had lots of epic characters, like the Demon King Ravana.
Is he here?
Over there? Well, I think he's
we're
over
passing
there.
around a picture of the Demon King Ravana.
Yeah, have y'all ever heard of K-pop demon hunters? Yeah, well, that demon has got 10. Yeah. Well, that demon's got 10 heads, and he got incredible powers after meditating in a mountain for like 10,000 years.
10,000 years.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that was a long time, huh?
It's a long time.
Yeah,
You haven't seen that movie.
These were the original demon hunters. Like
Yeah.
The first version.
These two are the original demon hunters.
So,
Yes. No, it's not only girls. It's
well,
everybody.
In this story, there's also Hanuman, who is the Monkey King, and he is a deity my family still prays to, and he's got all kinds of cool powers.
Like what?
Like he can turn into a giant, and he can fly. Yeah,
Giant monkey.
Pretty cool, huh?
He's a monkey king. That does sound cool, Jay. Can you tell me more about what the story is about?
Well, there's a lot going on in this. So the original epic poem is like 24,000 verses and 500 chapters.
Oh, 24,000 verses.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm gonna summarize a little bit.
Strap in, everybody. We're doing it.
Big picture, it's the story of Prince Ram, who was exiled to the forest for 14 years, and his brother Lakshman and wife Sita come with him, and everything is going okay for a while. They're kind of hanging out in the jungle until Sita gets kidnapped by the Demon King Ravana.
Oh no.
Yep, that's the one with the 10 heads over there.
Oh, that's so exciting. What happens next?
Well, Ram and Lakshman, thank you, set out after her, and they get involved into all kinds of adventures. They get involved into the internal politics of the Monkey Kingdom, and that's where they meet Hanuman. And he's like, you guys are the best, Ram and Lakshman. I love you. You're my chosen family. And he says, I'm going to carry you guys around wherever you want. We're going to find your wife. Let's go.
Woohoo. So does Hanuman rescue her?
No, actually, he does find Sita, but then Sita's like, no, my honor demands that my husband Ram come rescue me from this evil, invincible demon.
Oh.
Hanuman is like, really? Like, I can fly. We can just go. But Sita, she's unmoved. So eventually, Ram returns to Hanuman, and they prepare for battle against the Demon King and his forces.
Oh my God. What happens next?
So what happens next is there's battles. There's like a lot of battles. Like a lot of battles.
Like a lot.
But eventually. Yeah,
Like
probably.
24,000 verses of battles, yeah.
There's so many battles. But eventually Ram and his forces win, but not without some losses and some close calls.
Oh.
So his brother Lakshman ends up getting poisoned and is on death's door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and this brings us to my favorite part of the story, probably the most iconic part of the story. Here we go. So our heroes at this point, they're down south in the island of Lanka. And as I said, Lakshman gets poisoned, but it's like a magic poison, and they need this very specific plant that's all the way up in the Himalayas, and then like all the way down in Sri Lanka. So what do you think our heroes turn to? Who do you think they turn to for help?
Could it be the monkey king who can fly?
Right, he
Is
can
that?
fly. Exactly. You're exactly right. They turn to Hanuman, and Hanuman, being the virtuous character that he is, he's like, for my boy Lakshman, of course. Like, it's not even a question. So off he goes to the Himalayas to find this herb. There's just one problem.
What is it?
Well, he gets there, and he's like looking around, and he's like, wait a minute, what plant was it again?
Oh. Wah, wah.
He's like, this is not my role in the party. Like, what do? Do I go back for the druid? Do I So, but does anybody remember what other powers Hanuman had?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can turn into a giant.
Wow. Yeah, here he is. Look, he became a giant.
Yeah. And he figured if he can't find the plant that he needs, he's just going to bring the whole mountain to his friend.
Look, here he is flying with a mountain.
Yeah, so that's what he does. He brings the mountain back to his friend so they can find the magic herb to cure Lakshman.
Oh.
So that's kind of the climax of the story. Lakshman is saved.
Okay.
The Prince Ram and his family return from exile to their kingdom.
Uh-huh.
Everyone lives happily ever after.
Uh-huh.
Except for Ravana.
Except for Ravana, the demon. Uh-huh.
Yep. And that's what Hindus celebrate on Diwali, is Ram's victory over the forces of darkness.
Aw, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jay. That was a very succinct but thorough version of the Ramayana.
Thank you.
So what would you say this story is really about? In one, always be nice to your friends and try to stand up for them and help them. Exactly. What else? Resilience, yeah. Try to be as safe as you can. Yeah, totally. And yeah, friends have to be nice. Yeah, uh-huh. It all works out in the end. Yeah. So this week, we hope you all can think a lot about being a friend like Hanuman who will go and help his buddy out when he needs it. You may go to your classes. What?
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Hello. Again. Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship and in our small groups. This month, the theme is cultivating gratitude. Today, I'm feeling gratitude for the knowledge passed down from the stories of our past. I was always drawn to the Ramayana in childhood. The stories are great, the epic characters, the fantasy. There's stories of great sages and attaining great knowledge and power through altered states of consciousness or meditation or prayer. So Ravana goes up into the mountains for 10,000 years and comes down with 10 heads and almost limitless power. Yet that power did not come without a cost. And I was struck by how Ravana had all this knowledge and power, but so little wisdom. He is ultimately done in by his jealousy of Ram and his own insecurities. Ravana may be described as a demon, but I'm not sure what can be more human than that. What is the price that we pay for knowledge? Sometimes the cost for knowledge is easy to identify, like the price of a college tuition or the $500 that you have to pay someone to teach you transcendental meditation. But sometimes the cost of wisdom is harder to identify. Recall Robert Oppenheimer quoting the Bhagavad Gita saying, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," as the most terrifying example of man's pursuit of knowledge, perhaps since the legendary age of Ram came into existence with the nuclear bomb. And now we transition from the information age to the post-truth era, and the deck is even more stacked against us. We millennials used to think that as the future progressed, we would get access to more and better information. Surprise! Now we can't tell if any video or picture we see is real or not, and we have to worry about whether our search results are hallucinating. And yet, our brains are wired to create this sense of objective reality that has us convinced that we can never be wrong. It reminds me of the Hindu concept of Maya, which is roughly translated as illusion, but not just a normal illusion. It's kind of like the Matrix, but I promise I'm not trying to red pill y'all. Maya means that the world is not as it seems. The world that one experiences is misleading as far as its true nature is concerned. But piercing the veil does not come without cost. Recently, it was discovered by tracing certain gene variants linked to higher intelligence, which appeared around 500,000 years ago, that these mutations were closely followed by mutations that made us more prone to mental illness. Because for those of us that see the world as it is and refuse to look away, there's a price that we must be willing to pay. Our neuroplasticity is maybe the defining feature of our species, but every great leap forward in the evolution of our species or our culture has come with a cost. Yet there is hope for us. We are a stubborn species, and we've been at this for a long time. In the modern era, we like to think of ourselves as evolved and separate from the world around us. We like to think of this linear march from ape to human, from hunter-gatherer to farmer to us, from A to B to C. But the truth, as always, is more complicated than that. It's more like a spider web that branches and diverges and reconnects, and there's still so much that we don't know. When Neanderthals were first discovered, we were convinced that they were proof of this linear progression, and people would have been scandalized to know that what we know now, which is that we all have about 2 to 4% Neanderthal DNA, and I never would have believed all those years ago reading the Ramayana that the truth in some ways is even stranger than legend. We know that when humans left Africa around 40 to 50,000 years ago and migrated down the coast of India to Sri Lanka, they shared the planet with at least 3 other human species, some of which they were getting it on with. So today, I feel gratitude for the universal self that exists in every individual and every atom in the universe. Because at a fundamental level, down to all life in the universe, we are one. Our separateness is an illusion. We should feel gratitude that we get to continue on this journey of lifelong learning, knowing above all that we don't have to have all the answers. We'll never know whether the cat is dead or alive. But what we can do, whether we're examining a post on social media or examining shadows on the wall of a cave, is remember that we are connected deeply to the universe and our past in ways that we will never completely understand. So as we move in this new and uncertain information landscape, let us shed the ideas that no longer serve us and challenge our assumptions, but never our convictions. And if we can't always trust in what we see, let's listen to ourselves and to each other. Because while no 2 people will ever be able to share the same objective reality as it's filtered through our own experiences, that distinction becomes moot when we realize that we are all one. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. That was beautiful. We come to this place to see and be seen, to teach and be taught, to hear and be heard. Reach over and nudge the person sitting next to you, reminding them and yourselves that we are gathered here in peace and in authenticity and in intention. We also come to this place to share our joys and sorrows. If you have a rare joy or a profound sorrow, we will be turning off our live stream to give our community some privacy. We invite you to come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences and light a candle.
We hear your words. We witness your life in all of its heaviness, in all of its brilliance, and we carry your joys and sorrows in a shared heart.
Let us take a moment to come more fully into this place. However that looks for you, perhaps putting your feet flat on the floor, relaxing into your chair. Today we will be doing some Buddhist compassion building meditation for the interdependent web of life. I invite you to draw your attention to your heart space. You can put your hand over your heart if that helps you. Letting the corners of your lips turn up, always in gratitude. First, I invite you to imagine a person who is so easy for you to love. Smile as you think about them smiling, enjoying the feeling of compassion and love that they bring to you. And now repeat after me, holding their face in your mind's eye. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from harm. May you be free. And now I'll have you draw to mind an animal that's easy for you to love. Smiling as you think about them, keeping them in your mind's eye, repeat after me. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from harm. May you be free. And now lastly, we're going to draw to mind a plant. Any plant that is easy for you to love. Any piece of flora. Smiling as you imagine it, feeling in your heart space love and compassion for it, knowing that you are bound up with its own aliveness and its wellness. Repeat after me. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from harm. May you be free. Taking a moment to feel yourself held in this densely alive world, in gratitude for all that surrounds you and makes you possible. Let us sing our meditative hymn in gratitude for the earth and interdependent web.
Gratitude for the colors of the leaves in fall. Gratitude for the wind that blows the trees so tall. Gratitude for the church within these sacred walls. We sing gratitude for the blessings big and small. Gratitude for the sun that shines on earth so bright. Gratitude for the moon displayed in darkest night. Gratitude for the friends that always hold us tight. We sing gratitude for the things that bring us light. Grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful for this day. Grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful, come what may.
Please join us.
Grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful for this day. Grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful, come what may.
Our first reading comes from the Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and of death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. Our second reading comes from Erwin Rudolph Joseph Alexander Schrödinger and his cat, who are among the founders of quantum mechanics. The total number of minds in this universe is one. In the sense of the world, the mind is not a part of the world. It is the whole.
Imagine me, 21, head bent down, two women in mustard-colored robes leaning over me with a long silver razor as they slowly and methodically shaved off my hair, close to the scalp, a ritual of renouncing one's worldly illusions and taking refuge in the Buddha, or being temporarily ordained as a Buddhist nun. As the sun beat down and I watched my hair collect below me, I remember thinking, am I tripping? It was such a powerful ritual that my spirituality was deepened simply by the intensity of the sensory experience of a world that is so full on, like in India, full of chanting and rituals like this. Now, I was raised a proper atheist here in the Midwest, and because of this, some of the rituals that I encountered in India chafed. Prostrating myself to the Buddha, for example, was not why I decided to live in a Buddhist monastery for 4 months. But the more that I meditated and the more that I gave myself over to the life of the nuns, I was exposed to new levels of the interdependent web of life that were profound and profoundly harmonious with the way I was raised. My parents were and are gentle people who taught me a deep reverence for the animals in our lives. My mom was a veterinarian, and our animals were given tremendous respect. The natural world was cherished and admired and prioritized. Animals were handled with care and love, and actually, now in her retirement, my mom has deemed herself as the world's first pet chaplain, where she has 2 roles. She advocates for the pets and supports their owners, and she won't take money because, quote unquote, animals don't know about money. Recently, she came to stay with me for a month, and upon arriving, she let me know that I'm not meeting my cat's emotional needs. She said, "You're not greeting them properly when you come home." I tried to make excuses. I'm getting a toddler in the door. I'm a working mom. And she said, "Well, then I guess you'll have to rehome your cats," whom we've had since they were kittens. And you know, if I'm being honest with myself, I have been neglecting my cat's emotional needs, and I'm not afraid to say it from the pulpit. Since she came and did her pet chaplaincy with me, all of their behavioral problems, all of their medical problems resolved. Now I give them a big scritchy scratch when I get in the door, and I take a deep breath and I slow down and I appreciate them, and amazingly they go right back to their sleeping spots, no more screaming with eye contact. My home life is slower for me having taken the time to pet them, and we are therefore all in equilibrium with the living beings at the heart of my care in my home. Thus, in India, when my daily meditation practice existed specifically to build compassion for all sentient beings, large and small, known and unknown, that fit just fine with me. I was to see the tiny green gnats on the mosquito net, but I was encouraged to see them more than just with compassion. I was to see them as myself, that I could have been a tiny green gnat in another lifetime, or could again be reborn as a beautiful cow in India, wild and free and cared for, or I could be reborn as someone living with immense suffering or oppression. I had seen Jains, the followers of Jainism, walking while sweeping gently before their feet to avoid stepping on a bug, and how carefully and lovingly this awareness fulfilled my purpose in life too. As I meditated, and the scented air and the green sun, the great sun rose in the haze above the wide braided river flats, I felt in myself such compassion and awareness that the separateness between myself and the natural world fell away, day by day, until I lived in a sort of peaceful reverie where each texture and intersection came as if in a peaceful dream. And I believe this is what is called enlightenment. Where I lived was Bodh Gaya, India, where the Buddha gained enlightenment. And to this Mecca, hundreds of thousands of Buddhists and Hindus from around the world make pilgrimage each year. Each country has its most beautiful temple built up along the dusty roads because this location has super high merit, which is accumulated in Buddhism through ethical and skillful action that then lead to a favorable rebirth and therefore spiritual progress towards enlightenment. For example, the Japanese temple is strung with thousands of long strings of beads that the birds light into, chirping and ringing, and it has a pink stone floor that is warmed by the sun for you to sit on when you meditate in the open air. In the Tibetan temple, the colors explode like the most intricate painted lady. And of course, the Mahabodhi temple itself, where the Bodhi tree lives, under which the Buddha gained enlightenment, which is a huge towering stupa surrounded by grounds that are circumambulated 3, 9, 108 times by thousands of people each day, huge gatherings of pilgrims meditating and chanting and prostrating in mass from around the world, all with the intent of lifting the veil of illusion of separateness between us and everything else. I remember thinking, how could I have lived in such a densely alive world and not been lost in total wonder? I remember walking past a car along the streets of Bodh Gaya with its hood up, and its owners had incense and candles and candy spread out all over the engine because it was a puja, a ceremony that day for machines. And yet here again goes another separation falling away. Are objects sacred too? Is my whole worldview based on the assumption that I'm separate? Now, last year, Jay Bott, in a themed reflection, told us that he identified as psychedelically Hindu. And I have to admit that in India, I did feel held in a sort of kaleidoscopic, interdependent web. I did feel like Lucy in the sky with diamonds, as the full-on experience and the veils of illusion lifting was so trippy, but not a bad trip, never a scary feeling out of control. This level of full sensory religious experience is present in so many great texts. I'm sure you can think of many right now. The book of Acts with all the tongues. Ganesh is a man with an elephant head but human eyes. And so many cultures over the world use psychotropic plants as part of their spiritual path. Now, like all substances, psychedelics and psychotropic plants are incredibly powerful and therefore psychologically can be very dangerous. And actually, not an insignificant percentage of the adolescent psych ward are young men who've had a magic mushroom trip. I'm not telling anyone to do this or not do this, but I will say that most cultures that do use these plants have millennia of tradition around clerical support about how to use them. And yet, hallucinations are an important part of human history of enlightenment. Indeed, here in the US, in the late 60s and 70s, was a time of spiritual growth, which many of you, I'm sure, experienced with psychedelics and had spiritual experiences that enlightened you. A while back, even the New York Times did an article on animals that know which mushrooms to lick. How does a cat feel on catnip? Is it a spiritual experience? Actually, in June of this year, NPR did a segment on Weekend Edition of a group of researchers who wanted specifically to study clergy on a 2-day psilocybin trip. They needed to be normal, healthy clergy And they needed to have never done magic mushrooms before, which, interestingly, disqualified almost all of the rabbis. However, their goal was to take people who had had true religious experiences and see if tripping was that to them. The head researcher is quoted saying, "I hope this complicates the way we approach the world in binary terms of spirit and flesh." Over half the clergy said that it was in the top 5 spiritual experiences of their lives, to which I wonder maybe they should be meditating more. But what I do think meditation and drugs both have in common is that they change profoundly our experience of time. In his book, Botany of Desire, Michael Pollan wrote that one of the most important things that marijuana does to our brain is make us forget, so we always feel like we're in the present moment. And when I was meditating intensely, time almost didn't exist. I just experienced the things around me as they came. It made me wonder, all these normal, healthy clergy, how much time were they really able to spend on their spiritual practices? Let's be honest, they were probably stressed, trying to keep up everything in the congregation. So how do they experience time in this grinding American 21st century? And how do we all experience time in this reality? What if their religious experience on drugs was simply slowing down? Maybe people do these drugs because it jumps us to enlightenment without years of practice. Might so many of our substance uses truly be about connecting deeply with this densely alive world? And how much do we really want to be in awe? How much do we really want to experience total wonder at the most regular things, like your cat? And how much does the religious trauma that so many of us here have in the West cause us to be cynical about practices like meditation or deep communion that otherwise might allow us to engage deeply with the natural world? Let me talk briefly more about time, because I think it's so important to this conversation. This part is for Schrodinger's famous quantum theory cat. Did you know that they can formulate quantum mechanics exhaustively without using time as a variable? Newton, Apple guy, all of his discoveries way back depended on the radical idea that there is a force that is beyond time, an entity that flows by itself independently of time, that although the clocks all tick together, we don't actually have a common time. And then Einstein realized that this self-existing time that Newton referred to is actually real, and it's part of the gravitational field, and therefore that the passage of time depends on where you are. This is the theory of relativity. Therefore, we can have very different clocks. And maybe some of us have clocks that are going so wildly fast that there is no actual space for presence. There's no space for the connection with the natural world that allows the veil to fall. And then we can't be in awe of our true nature, of existing completely held in every moment by gravity, by the forces of nature, nourished by a substance called air that is thick like water, only different. So I think that if we wanted to become enlightened, that is to say, to become one with the interdependent web of life, we all need to slow down majorly and open our eyes to this incredible reality that is entangled on the quantum level. because we actually are more connected than science could ever help us see, which is another part of quantum theory, that there will always be unknown. Because all the great knowledge in our world can only truly be understood when we sit down and are present and experience it in wisdom. Our deep compassion and our intellect must weave together to show us the enlightened path, to show us how to inhabit the kaleidoscopic interdependent web that is so profoundly cacophonous and miraculous and ordered and predictable. This is what we do. We are compassionate first, always, and then we use our compassion to slow us down. We pet the cat, we see the spider, we shelter, we feed, we care when life is suffering. We let the illusion of separateness slip away, and we follow anything that signals that you are me, and I am you, and they are us, and we are them. In even small ways, we are constantly organizing and reorganizing ourselves around the softening, the kindnesses around us, anything that helps lift that veil of illusion. And if time isn't finding us, then we gotta make time. Which incredibly is something we can do. We can make time. We get to decide how present we are and how connected we are in every single moment. This is part of the theory of relativity. It's on you and it's on me, on us to live into the fullness of our awareness and the fullness of our embodiment and relationship, and uplift this incredible oneness that we have at our fingertips, as trippy and overwhelming as it is. Life can feel like a bad trip sometimes. But from within our deep, cosmic, unknowable oneness, we find ourselves embraced forever in nothing less than wonder.
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. Let us affirm. Wait. Let us affirm that we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These are in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise as you are willing and able. For our closing.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor all beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the white sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted the privileged place. Our love embraces the whole human race.
This week, I want you to make time to go be with the trees. They are so beautiful right now, and collect a little sacred object from Mother Earth to bring to the altar next week. Go in peace.